This is Hikaru CMK with Anime Corner number 5. Sorry I didn't have one for you last week. Today I got somebody here with me to help me out. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Hikaru. I go by Highstream, and I am a huge fan of anime. I've been watching too much, and recently I thought to myself, I'd like to do some anime reviews online, and then you sent that message out saying you were looking for someone, so I jumped at that chance, and so thank you very much for having me on here.
Yeah, no problem. Today we will be reviewing Mon Daijitachi Isekai Karakura no Desu. The English title is Problem Children Are Coming from Another World, aren't they? This anime is categorized as action, comedy, and fantasy. Aired from January 12th to March 16th of this year, 2013, being one of the first animes to start and finish. Runtime is 10 episodes, with each episode running for about 23 minutes per episode. The overall ranking this anime has received is a 7.5 out of 10, so roughly a C+. And on the charts, placed at number 500. Me personally, I rate this anime a 4.2 out of 5. It was really good, but yet it didn't have that extra push to push it to being completely over-satisfactory.
Okay. Yeah, I mostly agree with you on that. For the benefit of our listeners, the plot of this, you start off with our three main characters, Sakamaki Izayoi, who we find out has the ability to throw stones so hard that it causes explosions. We later find out he has other amounts of super strength. Kudo Asuka, who has the ability to order people to do what she wants them to do, similar to Lelouch in Code Geass, if anyone's seen that, except she can do it multiple times. Then we've got Kasukabe Yo, who has the ability to make friends with various animals.
And not to mention that when she does make friends, she gets their abilities.
Exactly. So, like, she has the ability to talk to her cat, and then you see her jumping through trees like a cat does, and things like that. And they are all invited to come to the world of Little Garden, which is another kind of a fantasy world. Well, of course, it's a fantasy anime. So they come to this other world, and we discover it's a world that's kind of ruled over by these demon lords, and everyone belongs to a community, and these communities play games against each other. And so they want, a community wants them to represent them in the games. And they are introduced to the world by Black Rabbit, or Kuro Usagi, who is also one of the judges of the games. And so she wants them to represent her community so that they can start to rebuild their community, which was nearly wiped out, like 3 years ago, I think it was. Yeah. It was nearly wiped out. They had their name taken from them. Many of their strongest people left. And so they agree to help them rebuild this world. This show had a lot of things that I really liked. It had a fun cast of characters. I loved all of the main characters. There was never a main character that when it would go over to them, I'd be like, why are we watching this person again? Instead, it would jump to them and be like, ooh, what are they doing now? Jump to the next person. Ooh, what are they doing now? The characters were fun, and it had a great opening and end theme.
And I have to say, I really enjoyed those as well.
Mm-hmm. The opening theme is a very intense one. It's called, I think it's Black and White or Black plus White, I'm not sure how to read.
Black and White.
Black and White by Iori Nomizu. Very intense. Reminds me of the opening theme of Steins Gate. And then the ending theme is To Be Continued by Kaori Saruhara, which is very bubbly J-pop. Completely opposite the opening theme. And it introduces chibi versions of our main characters doing a cute little dance.
And I have to say, one of the big reasons why I like the ending is because it completely put you at ease of what was going on in the show.
Yeah, the show creates tension, but it's also got these laughter points. So it's kind of like, I think the opening and ending theme kind of represent the show itself. You've got this intense stuff, and then you've got all these lighthearted moments that relieve the tension, which you really need. Otherwise the tension starts almost becoming a parody of itself after a while.
Yeah. But then to add a little bit of contrast even more, did you stick tune after the ending theme song?
Mm-hmm. after the ending theme song, you've got chibi versions of the main characters getting in little arguments with each other or revealing secrets about each other. But we won't reveal those. That's for you to find out for yourself. Some of the things I didn't like about this show was, well, it's hard to say whether this is a good or bad thing. There's only 10 episodes, which I thought they used very well. Although I would have liked a bit more time for some of the exposition and maybe a bit of character development, I thought that it never felt, it may have felt, I don't think it ever actually felt rushed. I don't think it ever actually felt rushed. They kept the action moving along, and it never felt boring.
I kind of have to disagree with you there. Mm-hmm. To me, some of the scenes and some of the areas felt a little bit rushed. I would have liked them to go a little bit more in depth of why something was happening.
Yeah, okay, I'll agree with you there. Although the action never felt rushed, there were some parts of exposition I wish they'd spent a bit more time on, because it was a bit hard to figure out what was going on sometimes, but I didn't care. I was enjoying the ride.
Yeah, like to just give an example at the beginning, I'm not going to explain what's going on, but you come in halfway. Mm-hmm. Hey, like, after everything happened, then Black Kurosagi gets mad and storms off. You come in halfway at what's happening, and then you don't really understand why what was going on.
Well, that's par for the course for a lot of anime. At least then, they actually, by the end of the first episode, they've explained it well enough that you do kind of understand what's going on. Not like something like Evangelion, where it's like, okay, you're 5 episodes in, it's like, okay, why are we doing this? Or not to bash on Evangelion, but the other thing I didn't like is a bit more fan service than I'd prefer. Not as many as some shows I've seen. I did like I won't go into that. You'll find out. But I could have done without it a bit more. I found it a bit distracting when it did come in. Your mileage will vary, of course. Some people look for that sort of thing, but it wasn't so much that it detracted from my experience of the show, I thought.
Yeah, but even though there was a little bit of that, they still did a pretty good job covering it. Mm-hmm.
Yes, especially, I don't know if I can say this, the dress that is designed to almost, but never reveal anything.
That's true. That one left me kind of confused.
I thought it was a funny gag.
That's true. I have to agree with you there.
So that's kind of what I want to say. Not a great anime, but it was fun to watch. Because there's only 10 episodes, it left me wanting more. Which is always a good sign with anime.
And with there is rumor going around that there will be a second season, because even though the first season hasn't been a complete manga yet, it's pretty original.
Well, it's actually based on
the second season is already being started to put into a manga.
Oh, that'd be cool. Into a manga, okay, because it was all based on a light novel series, if I remember correctly. And there's plenty of light novels for them to adapt, I believe. So
that is true.
It's short, it's not like you're going to spend a whole lot of time on this, and I didn't consider my time wasted. If we're going on a 1 to 5 scale, I would give it. If I were to rate this from a scale of 1 to 5, I'd probably give it about 4.5, maybe a 4. It's not a great show. It's not, on the level of, say, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood or something like Cowboy Bebop, but...
I think probably Cowboy Bebop. I honestly wasn't a big fan of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but to each his own.
Yeah. It's not one of the masterpieces, but it's definitely one that you'll have a lot of fun watching.
Like, in your opinion, would you say you'd probably watch it again?
Oh, yeah, I'm already watching it again with my roommates.
Right, so am I.
So.
Okay. Oh, thank you for your input. Mm-hmm. I have to give a shout out to Random Mixu7 for sending me her Nikai AMV, which I gave a 4.5 out of 5. She constantly does a really good job with matching the flow, and some of her overlapping and some of her other effects. So I would recommend some of her AMVs if you're looking for something enjoyable. Well, thanks. Hi, Stream, thanks for joining me. Have you Do you have anything else you want to say before we go?
No, I just had a really good time doing this. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. It's my pleasure. If you'd like to be a part of a review or have any recommendations for an anime to watch and review, or even an AMV, just drop me a message to my inbox. Thanks for joining us here on Anime Corner. See ya.